What is up, everyone? James Baek here. Welcome back to another episode of VGC 17 Back-to-Back Battles. Today we got the Blancox. I don't know how you're going to pronounce this name. 1536 rating from Spain with the team of Arcanine, Porygon 2, Gastrodon, Celesteela, Crocodile, and Tapu Lele. My team will be the Garchomp, Drifblim, Metagross, Arcanine, Tapu Koko, and our Tapu Fini. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. This is going to be hard because, again, Porygon 2 is a Pokemon that I really don't like facing, but my opponent doesn't really have anything that can really threaten my Tapu Lele right off the bat, so maybe I want to consider that. Lead Drifblim, Tapu Fini, because it's very solid against my opponent's team. Do I want to go Garchomp? I kind of do want to go Garchomp. Garchomp's just a solid Pokemon against my opponent's team. But I'm really interested in bringing the Arcanine because Arcanine is a Pokemon that could do very solid against my opponent's team. I don't know why it's so dark right here. Maybe move this light? I don't know. I'll try to fix that for the next episode. But yeah, it is kind of dark in my room right now. It's not that sunny. It's very cloudy. So yeah, Drifblim, Tapu Fini, I think Garchomp, and Metagross. Yeah, the only problem is I'm going to have troubles with Celesteela if my opponent decides to bring it, but I don't think I'm going to have too much concerns depending on what kind of Celesteela it is. If it's sub, it's a lot easier to handle because of my Metagross, but if it has Flamethrower, I guess I'm going to have to rely on Garchomp's Rock Slice to do a lot of work. We'll see how this goes, though. I could always disable the Flamethrower as well. We're going to see Tapu Lele, Porygon 2 come out, which is great for me, actually, because these Pokemon really can damage the Pokemon I'm going to lead with. And right here, I could probably just get a Swagger right into my Tapu Fini slot and switch directly into the Metagross. I don't see a problem with it, to be honest. As the Misty Surge is going to activate, and I can just go for the Swagger, I think. It's very safe onto my Tapu Fini. As download's going to activate again, attack boost. Very fortunate. Actually, wait. Should it be getting attack boost? I thought it was on the weaker side, and both my Pokemon are EV. I don't know how it works because I don't know. Maybe it counts Misty Seed boosts. I'm not exactly sure about that. I'm going to Swagger my Tapu Fini though. Hard into my Metagross because there's not really much Tapu Lele can threaten my Tapu Fini with, unless it's Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt could be a bit annoying, but I'm definitely maybe expecting a Psychic or a Shattered Psychic, maybe a Moonblast even, but I would hope the Psychic, to be honest. I am going to go for Swagger. Tapu Lele actually decides to protect. That's fantastic for me, as I'm able to get a nice Swagger onto my Metagross that does connect, so we're going to have a +2 Metagross on the field. And my opponent's going to go for what? Just the Ice Beam, actually, and go into my Drifblim, which is completely fine for me, because that's not going to do too much. Luckily, no freeze, and Tapu Lele doesn't threaten me too much. I can go for another Swagger, and I think I can just go for a Meteor Mash or a Zen Headbutt into Porygon 2. I kind of like the Zen Headbutt more into the Porygon 2. It does more damage to the Porygon 2. I might even be able to pick up the Knockout, but Porygon 2 is just such a bulky Pokemon. I don't think it will, but we could potentially, and I would love to get a Zen Headbutt off into the Porygon. We're going to see the Crocodile come out for my opponent, which wouldn't appreciate a Meteor Mash, but I don't think my opponent is going for a Trick Room here, so I wonder what my opponent's going to go for. I guess Sub would have been the best all-around play, but I don't know. I feel like this is fine about this. There's no Scarf on the Tapu Lele, so I can always set up Tailwind if I knock out this Porygon. We do land the Zen Headbutt, and this is a +4 Zen Headbutt into that Porygon 2. Yeah, Porygon 2. So bulky, man. And Ice Beam is just going to continue targeting down the Drifblim. Completely fine. But the Porygon 2 is in range for my attacks. The question is, I don't know what the Porygon 2 wants to do here. I could definitely see Tailwind coming out from, Trick Room coming out from my opponent, but I'm not sure if you exactly want to settle that on the field right now. This is going to be hard. What do I want to do? I could Tailwind. I could also Swagger my Garchomp. I think Swaggering my Garchomp's, but if I switch into Tectonic Rage, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? But it does do a lot, so I could always Swagger my Metagross again if I really need to, and I should be able to live a Tectonic Rage with my Garchomp, since I am EV to live opposing Garchomp's Tectonic Rage. So gonna go into Garchomp. If he predicts this, great play, but we're gonna see him switch out actually. Go out to the Gastrodon, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. As I'm guessing we're gonna see Tectonic Rage. We could see Earthquake or Crunch. I'm pretty sure it's Tectonic Rage. My opponent didn't have a ground type switching. Swagger, yep. And actually, we're just going to see the Earthquake. That's actually perfect for me. The reason why I say this is perfect for me is because the fact that he weakens his own Gastrodon. Now it's in the range of the +2 Earthquake. If that's Scar Crocodile, I can get a Disable off. But I could also Tailwind right here. And I think Tailwind is the call here. Because if my opponent has a Timid Tapu Lele, that's problematic. So just going to protect my Garchomp and Tailwind right here. I think it's very safe. Crocodile is probably going to either switch out or just stay in and go for an attack. But either way, I think this is the safest play no matter what. I am going to get the Tailwind up. So let's see what my opponent goes for. Maybe Tectonic Rage. It's going to be the Rock Slide actually. So we confirm it's not Scarf. So I'm glad I didn't go for a Disable. But I could have gotten Earthquake off. Maybe my opponent hoping for flinches. Let's see what the Gastrodon goes for. It's going to be the Ice Beam into the Garchomp slot, so that's completely fine by me. Could be a Sash Crocodile, but either way, I think we just set up for the victory here. I think I could just Earthquake and Acrobatics him to oblivion. I don't think my opponent has anything that can live a +2 Earthquake. The only thing that could live an Earthquake might be either Bold, Porygon 2, and now Porygon 2, Bold Tapu Lele, or the fact that he has to switch out to Crocodile and sack a Pokemon, get the Intimidate, and hope Gastrodon's able to survive a +1 Earthquake. So my opponent's just really staying in. I would have sat Porygon 2 there, to be honest, because Porygon 2 was pretty low and wouldn't be able to do much. I'm going to get the Earthquake off, and this will be able to knock out both my opponent's Pokemon at the +2, and yeah, obliterated. And that should be game, because my opponent really doesn't have anything for the Garchomp. Not even a Scarf Lele to, I don't know, potentially outspeed Garchomp under Tailwind. I don't think it can. Maybe it's Sash. I'll just go for the Acrobatics again. Nothing my opponent can really do. I would assume that would be a Assault Vest Crocodile, to be honest, because it was not protecting at all. Tapu Lele comes in, as well as that Porygon 2 already weakened. And what I can do is just go for the Acrobatics and Earthquake. We'll pick up a KO on any Lele. Even if the Lele decides to protect, I still have one more turn of Tailwind. At least I should have one more turn of Tailwind, right? Or is it 2? I have 2 more turns of Tailwind, yep. So, Acrobatics, Earthquake, my opponent needs to get a double protective Lele, and even then, Metagross should just be able to win the game as long as I connect a Meteor Mash. And I do have Tapu Fini to get rid of this terrain if necessary, so either way, I feel like we win the game. The Tapu Lele is just going to go for the Protect. Very safe play. As we go for the Acrobatics here, and just another Earthquake. But even then, my opponent will definitely be losing Porygon 2 to this huge Earthquake, which is going to pick up the knockout on Porygon 2. Definitely pick up the KO here, as Porygon 2 is going to go down. And I'm just going to fire off another Earthquake and an Acrobatics, to be honest. There's no reason for me to reveal Tectonic Rage. If this was the best of 3 set, I would not reveal Tectonic Rage at all. Try to keep the information at a minimum, but then again, people already know this team because I've already posted it, but if they didn't know my team, let's say. But anyway, we're going to take a clean 4-0 win for a first game. That's pretty nice. I think my opponent just didn't set up Trick Room, which was something that was a bit interesting, as well as just had nothing that could really threaten the Metagross out on time before I could get the Swagger and get the huge damage on Porygon 2 that I needed to put it in the range of the Earthquake. My opponent didn't go for Recover. And I feel like if he recovered there, he would have had a very solid shot, because if he was able to survive the +2 Earthquake, that could have been a game changer instead of a Trick Room. But yeah, I feel like it was pretty solid overall. Let's find another 2 games. That game was pretty quick, actually. As we're going to find, I don't know how you pronounce this person's name, from Mexico, 1588 rating, bringing the team of, oh, very standard team, actually. Arcanine, Tapu Koko, Garchomp, Nihilego, Mandibuzz, and Kartana. Now, Mandibuzz, Nihilego, Kartana, and Arcanine were 4 of the Pokemon that I faced at the Aeon Gaming Finals, and that is a very hard matchup for me because Mandibuzz can shut down Drifblim and what I wanted to do. But I do have my own Garchomp, and Garchomp is able to do a lot of work. I think I'll leave Drifblim, Tapu Fini, Metagross. Do I want Metagross? Do I want Metagross? Yes, because it beats the Nihilego, which is what I need. But to be honest, I think I could win the game with just my Tapu Koko, my Metagross. But not exactly the best game plan. I think the best game plan is to go with these four. I was thinking of bring maybe Tapu Koko, Tapu Fini, Arcanine, and Metagross, but I think Garchomp's necessary for that Tapu Koko. So, gonna go with the Tailwind Swagger route. I don't want my opponent to set up Tailwind, but I think I'm gonna have to let it. But I'm gonna need my Garchomp at +4 because +4 Rock Slide should be able to knock out the Mandibuzz. At least I'm hoping, because I don't exactly know. I was actually calculating Rock Slide from Crocodile +6 because it actually happened in one of my games for practice for the mid-season showdown that I was doing today, and it KOs. So Tapu Koko Mandibuzz will take the field. I'm going to lead my Drifblim Tapu Fini. I have a very safe play, just going for the Tailwind turn 1 and going straight down to my Garchomp. I could swagger my own Garchomp, which I feel like would be a more solid play, to be honest, but I do want to outspeed that Koko. So the Misty Seed, my defense is going to rise. I am going to go for Tailwind here, as well as a switch directly into my Garchomp. So this is going to be a very interesting game. So I'm able to get Tailwind up, and let's see who the Tapu Koko targets. Maybe a Volt Switch coming out or a Thunderbolt. It could be either one, to be honest. Gonna go for a Tailwind. I feel like this is my best play. Getting Garchomp, able to threaten my opponent's Pokemon. Nice. We trade Tailwinds here. Very nice. Very nice. My opponent's unfortunately able to set up Tailwind of his own. However, I think I can just go for... Well, I want Mandibuzz to go for a foul play right here. My opponent carries it because that way I could disable it. And that's a play that I like making with this team. I think I'll go for the Acrobatics. And because I could swagger the Mandibuzz, prevent it from going to foul play and go for Tectonic Rage. But I could always disable the Mandibuzz. So I don't feel like it's the right call. My opponent must be worried about the Garchomp. So I feel like double targeting the Garchomp might be the best play. Ooh, we're going to see the Tapu Koko switch out into Arcanine. I do not mind that. Especially my opponent goes for a foul play here, because if I disable that foul play, it's amazing. But if my opponent goes for Taunt into Drifblim, which, you know, could definitely be a potential play, but I feel like he would want this foul play damage on Garchomp. But then again, with the Intimidate, I'm not exactly sure anymore. Acrobatics is going to go into the Mandibuzz, and we're going to see the foul play, and it does target the Garchomp. And I can disable that and actually just go for a Swords Dance, which is really nice here. This is the reason why I like running Swords Dance on the Garchomp. If Drifblim is forced to go for a disable, and I can't swagger, maybe if my opponent has a terrain up, like my opponent could switch into Tapu Koko trying to catch my swagger into my own Garchomp. This is like a play I can make. So I'm going to disable this Mandibuzz here and prevent it from going for a foul play, which is going to damage me. And my opponent goes for Will-O-Wisp in the Misty terrain. Very interesting decision, to be honest. Very interesting decision because... Okay, my opponent's best play there would have been to withdraw the Mandibuzz, go into Tapu Koko and go for the Will-O-Wisp, but forgetting about the Misty terrain, it's gonna basically... I don't know about my opponent, but I'm just gonna go for Disable, and I think I'll just go for a Rock Slide and get some damage off. I think Mandibuzz might want to switch out into the Tapu Koko right here, but that's fine because I get the chip damage onto the Arcanine. That's pretty good, as well as damage on this Tapu Koko as well, which is fantastic. Either way, I'm getting a +1 attack off. I should have probably just went for the Earthquake because I would have been able to pick up a double knockout, but I really wanted damage on the Mandibuzz in case he stayed in, because it was really risky just staying in with the switching out into Tapu Koko if I Earthquaked. Rock Slide does a lot. It is fast Arcanine, but now I can just Tailwind very safely, and yeah, I can just Tailwind very safely, and I think I could just go for the Swords Dance here, because do I want to go for the Swords Dance? I feel like it's the best play, but it could be Twinkle Tackle Tapu Koko. We haven't seen the Z move from my opponent yet. I don't think it's Z move Tapu Koko though. I think Swords Dance is the best play here. Yeah, because I think Mandibuzz might want to come in for the Arcanine and the Dazzling Gleam. Yeah, we're going to see Arcanine withdraw, which is fine. Gonna go out to the Mandibuzz once again, and here I'm trying to get my Swords Dance up so I can potentially knock out the Mandibuzz with that chip damage I got on it earlier. Dazzling Gleam won't be able to knock me out. It's gonna be the Volt Switch actually. Good play by my opponent. He wants that Intimidate Recycle. Oh jeez, that did a lot. That might be Specs Tapu Koko. Actually no, it's an electric terrain, right? I keep forgetting because I'm used to the Misty terrain damage calcs. Arcanine's gonna come back out. If I Rock Slide, I would have been in a really good position, but either way, I feel like I'm in a very safe position no matter what. The question is, do I go for the Acrobatics into the Mana Buzz? Or do I just go for like a Swagger? Because if my opponent's able to survive Rock Slide plus... Well, I don't have chip damage on the Garchomp, and Foul Play is a roll on my Garchomp. Wait, we're at +2, yes. So... I feel like Swagger is our best play into the Mana Buzz. And I'm going to go for the Rock Slide, because Rock Slide will be able to pick up the KO on these Pokemon. So, going to Swagger this Mana Buzz. It's not going to affect its attack stat unless my opponent cares like a knockoff or something. So, I think this is a safe play. I don't think Acrobatics will KO the Mana Buzz with the Rock Slide. Mana Buzz even avoids attack. So, Swagger apparently is the best play. Let's see if we can get it off, though. It would be really nice if we could get the Swagger off. If Foul Play doesn't KO my Garchomp, I'm fine with this trade. But let's see. Mana Buzz is able to set up Tailwind. That's alright as well. I don't exactly need... Okay, so my opponent set up Tailwind and unfortunately gets one more turn of Tailwind more than me. So let's see what my opponent's going to bring out. Probably that Tapu Koko. Garchomp could be a bit of a nuisance. It's actually Nihilego. Oh boy. That's a nuisance. Because I don't know what kind of item this Nihilego is carrying. I think I want damage on... I could Swagger the Nihilego. That's always a play as well. Maybe Swagger is my best play. Or I could Acrobatics the Mana Buzz. But I think Swagger is fine here, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to Swagger and Protect. You might be saying this is a bit cheap. But if Drifblim goes down, I could get my Metagross in. So I feel like it would be a fine position no matter what. Even if the Nihilego doesn't protect itself. We're going with a... odds management game, which is part of Pokemon. We're going to try to put the odds in our favor. Have these Pokemon, if one of my Pokemon can survive here, it'd be great. It's an Nihilego attacks, goes for 10 power ice, and Mana Buzz hits itself. Great position. Dazzling Gleam. Is that Scarf Nihilego? Mana Buzz is confused, gets the Foul Play off. Targets Garchomp actually, so this is pretty good for me. We didn't see a Life Orb on the Nihilego, so that confirms some suspicions. I can just disable and Rock Slide because I want chip damage on the Mana Buzz, and Dazzling Gleam isn't going to do much, if it's not choice specs at least. So I'm going to disable this Mana Buzz's attack. Nihilego, Dazzling Gleam isn't going to matter too much, and it's either Scarf, Specs, or I don't know, because Dazzling Gleam isn't going to do too much unless it's Specs. Yeah, Garchomp's able to eat that just fine. Critical hit on Drifblim does not matter. Hopefully we can connect with this Rock Slide. That'd be really good. Nihilego's Beast Boost is going to activate. Actually, after the Beast Boost, it might matter. Rock Slide does connect with the Mana Buzz this time. Let's see if we would have been able to pick up the Knockout. No. And yeah, the Acrobatics when I picked up the Knockout if I went for that one turn. A berry is going to activate for the Mana Buzz. Very interesting. It's going to be the Citrus Berry, it looks like, and flinches. I don't think it mattered because it would have probably just went for the... Well, actually, no. If it went for the Taunt there, it might have mattered. I can go out into my Metagross, though. And this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. Let me just see. I don't remember how much damage the Metagross took. I feel like a Meteor Mash into Nihilego is fine, as well as a Protect from the Garchomp, because I'm very confident that the Nihilego Scarf, so I feel like you're just going to fire for Dazzling Gleam. Yeah, it's Scarf. Because the Dazzling Gleam damage was kind of pathetic, and you only run Dazzling Gleam on the Scarf variant of Nihilego. And Mana Buzz can't do much to my team because of Foul Play not being anything. Okay, so my opponent goes for the Roost, which is fine as well. Okay. But we do connect with the Meteor Mash, and it will connect and knock out this Nihilego. Nice. So Nihilego is now gone. Does Metagross get an attack boost? That would be extremely nice if it did. Tailwind is going to peter out for... Was that my side or my opponent's side? I'm pretty sure it was my side. Tapu Koko is going to come out. And I'm pretty sure Meteor Mash will knock out the Tapu Koko at this range. If it doesn't, though, we're in a bit of an annoying situation. Thunderbolt? Let me just see something. Yeah, we don't have Tailwind. My opponent doesn't have Tailwind. Okay. So my opponent's forced to fire off a Dazzling Gleam, I think. into the Garchomp. I mean, Dazzling Gleam into the Garchomp, because you need to pick up the knockout on Garchomp, because Garchomp's the thing that can guarantee Oko your Koko. And I can go into Fini. To take a Dazzling Gleam, I don't think you Thunderbolt the Garchomp slot. Mandibuzz can't foul play yet, which is extremely nice. And I can go out into my Fini directly. And what this will allow me to do is prevent Metagross from being knocked out from a Thunderbolt in case my opponent wants to go for that. But yeah, we're going to see a Dazzling Gleam. You're forced to. If it's Life Orb, Meteor Mash should be able to pick up the knockout after the Life Orb damage. No Life Orb. We didn't see it either. I believe it went for Volt Switch, so that makes sense. Meteor Mash is able to knock out the Koko, however, and that should be game because Mandibuzz shouldn't be able to beat the Fini. And Swagger, confusion still happening. Gonna go for a Tailwind. Doesn't really matter. At this point, Fini should be able to win the game. I can just go for a Calm Mind and a Meteor Mash, get some chip damage off, and a +1 Tapu Fini should be able to beat this Mandibuzz, unless it carries Snarl. Like, Snarl is like the only thing that can get my opponent back into the game, but either way, I still think we win. So let's see my opponent carry Snarl, but I think you have to foul play the Metagross as well, or you have to taunt the Fini first to prevent it from going for Calm Minds. But my opponent didn't know. Well, my opponent knew I was in specs, so probably assumed I was a Calm Mind variant. But we are able to take the second game pretty convincingly. Very nice. Very close too, like very close. I did have to make some reads, but it did pay off. Yes, I went for Swagger, but I don't think it really mattered. Once we saw the Dazzling Gleam come out, I didn't think my opponent really had a chance, to be honest. Because all I had to do was disable the foul play, which was the best move for me. And again, Acrobatics went put the chip damage, and the chip damage was basically useless. So Swagger was my best move no matter what, because it gave me a 30% chance that my opponent would hit itself, preventing from getting a Tailwind up or a foul play off onto my Pokemon. So either way, it was the safest play no matter what. So some people might call that cheap, but I call it taking a chance. Acrobatics was very unnecessary there, and you know, Swagger, if my opponent hit itself, would have rewarded me. So I still stand by my plays. As we find X-Dova from Spain with a 1552 rating, as we're going to see the team of the Tapu Koko, Garchomp, Gigalith, Gastrodon, Arcanine, and Celesteela. This looks like it's going to be Sekiyam's winning London International team. Ooh, let's see. So my opponent doesn't have speed control, which is really nice. I feel like I could honestly steamroll my opponent just using a Garchomp Drifblim, but the problem is Wide Guard. Wide Guard was a thing on, I believe, the Gigalith, because I think the Gigalith was Z-move, if I remember correctly. The Celesteela was a Wide Guard. I feel like it was Substitute. Okay. Drifblim Tapu Fini will be my lead of choice. It's very solid. Garchomp. The question is, who do I want to back? Metagross can do a lot of work. I could go Arcanine here because Arcanine with the Life Orb, Flare Blitz, and Close Combat can do a lot of work, as well as the Intimidate. Kind of want to bring Metagross, to be honest. It does allow me to hit the Gastrodon as well as the Gigalith. Metagross. The only things I'm worried about in this game, Sandvale Garchomp, because whenever I face Sekion's team, I literally want to rip my hair out. Speaking of hair, I did get a haircut. Not exactly sure how I like it. Let me know what you think in the description down below. I mean, the comment section down below. But I'm not sure about how I like my haircut. But Sandvale Garchomp, I hate. I didn't like playing 2012 at all because of Sandvale Garchomp, to be honest. We're going to see the Arcanine Tapu Koko lead. That's actually perfect for me, as I'm going to lead my Drifblim Tapu Fini. If this is helping hands, this could be scary. If this is a... It can't be a taunt from the Tapu Koko, so we're good. Wild Charge Arcanine, I would be completely fine with, to be honest. So, luckily my opponent sets up the Terrain Setter. Unless my opponent goes for Volt Switch, we should be in a very nice position here. I can go for a Tailwind straight away and switch out into my Garchomp. Unless my opponent goes for Dazzling Gleam here, I guess it could be problematic. Maybe my opponent is baiting me to do that, but I still feel like Tailwind is the safest play. Let me just check my opponent's rating. 1552. Okay. I mean, you shouldn't always like look down on players with a low rating, because they could be, you know, just starting out, reset their ratings, stuff like that. But you know, I would feel more confident in the play of maybe my opponent predicting this if it was like a higher rating. So I'm going to just go into Garchomp and Tailwind. It's a very safe play. Both these Pokemon can't knock me out unless you go for a Helping Hand. My opponent didn't go for a Helping Hand. It's going to be the Thunderbolt into the Drifblim slot. Maybe a double up here, which would be fine by me, to be honest. As wow, that didn't do much. Snarl is actually going to come out. Excellent. 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 Whew. Okay. So I'm going to swagger my Garchomp, and I kind of want Swords Dance here, to be honest. What was my opponent's team? I could just Rock Slide, to be honest. Or I could Earthquake. I kind of just want to Rock Slide. I kind of want Swords Dance, to be honest, because I... Oh, wait, no, the Koko was Sash. I think Rock Slide is fine, though, because Celesteela might want to come in. You might want to preserve the Koko Sash. So, I'm just going to Rock Slide here. Sash Koko can't do too much damage to me either way, so Rock Slide's fine here in my position. Rock Slide does connect with both. We can also flinch one of these Pokemon, which would be extremely nice, as we get a lot of damage off onto these Pokemon. Arcanine I'm going to eat, I believe it was an Iapa Berry? No, it's Citrus actually on the Arcanine. Oh, right, the Gashon was Moranga. Dazzling Gleam going to come out. Is that a crit? No, it's not a crit. And Will-O-Wisp in... Why does everyone keep Will-O-Wisping in Misty Terrain? Learn your mechanics, people. I can just Swagger again into Garchomp as well as Rock Slide. What's nice is my Drifblim is still alive. So, either way, Drifblim being alive is huge for me. As we're going to see a Protect come out from the Tapu Koko. Please connect. Okay, nice. Double Protect, that's fine. As I'm going to swagger my own Garchomp. And now we're at +4 Garchomp. I could have got +6. Predicted the double protect. I don't think it's necessary because +4 is probably the way I want to go in this game. To be completely honest. As we're going to go for Rock Slide. And I don't want to miss a Rock Slide now. My opponent could go into Celesteela or Gastrodon maybe predicting the Rock Slide. But I think I'm going to get a +6 Garchomp in this game. And we're going to Earthquake here. I could Tectonic Rage the Koko, I guess. But yeah, I don't feel like it really matters. Arcanine's actually going to withdraw, so Koko's going to get sacked here. Celesteela's going to come in completely fine. I don't mind that too much, as we are going to get probably a +5 Garchomp after this turn, but my opponent must be hoping for a miss. We are going to get an Earthquake off, and it will be able to knock out the Tapu Koko. So nice. We guarantee the knock on Tapu Koko, one of the most annoying Pokemon to deal with on this team. Tapu Koko is going to go down, as let's see, critical hit does not matter. I doubt it. +6 people. +6 Earthquake. Alright, let's see. Should bring out the Arcanine once again. Yep. So we have... Okay, since... Okay. Now it's some mind games here. Heavy Slam's going to do a lot of damage. I think the safest play is just to go for Tailwind and Protect here. Yeah, I like that. I just want Tailwind Protect because I kind of want to sack Drifblim and try to get Tapu Fini in, and then I can Muddy Water Rock Slide. That should be able to knock out Celesteela at this range. So I'm going to go for my Tailwind here. I could have went for Swagger Rock Slide, but I'm worried about the Heavy Slam, and my opponent doesn't target down the Garchomp slot. We're in an extremely good position. But Snarl is going to come out and does not get the Drifblim. If my Drifblim survived this turn, I could have disabled the Celesteelas. Oh, we do survive. Oh, man, I love Drifblim. 22 hit points. That's all the Snarl did. Okay. Hello, Disable. Hello, Rock Slide. But my opponent's probably going to double protect. Actually, no, I should just Tectonic Rage here and get rid of any, like, switching my opponent can do. Oh, nice. My opponent doesn't actually protect. I could have got a Rock Slide off. Oh, well, but I want my Pokemon down to his last two because I don't know what my opponent has. And now Celesteela can't go for damage moves. It can only go for like a Leech Seed or Substitute. And I feel like my opponent definitely wants to go for the Heavy Slam here. I haven't revealed Disable yet, but unless my opponent knows this or maybe expected, I don't know. But Arcanine would have been great for the end game. I wasn't expecting to easily sweep with the Garchomp like this. So Arcanine's able to go down to +5 Tectonic Rage. I don't know any Pokemon that could honestly live that. As Heavy Slam is disabled. Nice. And we'll see the opponent's last Pokemon. Will it be the Gastrodon? Will it be... It is going to be Gastrodon. Perfect. And once I get rid of this Gastrodon, I think I win the game. So I could Swagger to Celesteela, but I don't want to make it too threatening for my Tapu Fini. I think I'm just going to go for Acrobatics into the Gastrodon because I think it's leftover Celesteela anyway, and I'll just go for an Earthquake and get damage on the Gastrodon. As I don't think the Gastrodon had Protect. I think it was like Scald, Ice Beam, Toxic, Recover. So Earthquake should be able to pick it up the knockout, especially after that Acrobatics. I think Acrobatics was what, -2? So Earthquake going to be able to knock out the Gastrodon. Now Celesteela 1v4, and it can't even go for like any strong attacks. Leech Seed is going to come out and connect with my Drifblim actually, which is okay because now my Garchomp's still healthy. So either way, I'm in a good position. This Drifblim is going to go down to the Leech Seed. And I can go out straight into my Metagross, or I could go into my Tapu Fini. I think Metagross is safe though. I could get a sub up just right here, right now. And since my opponent can only go for like Leech Seeds, or maybe Flamethrower if my opponent has it, we're in a good position. I'll just go for Substitute and a Rock Slide. Let's see if +5 single target Rock Slide can knock out Celesteela, but I doubt it. It's Celesteela. The match is going to be forfeited actually, so we are able to pick up 3 very convincing wins in today's episode. Drifblim doing so much work in today's episode, and I hope that everyone enjoyed today's episode. I feel like I just focused on the battles. It didn't bring much personality, but it kind of was like in a really bad... I guess, okay, 2 hours before this video, I was basically just practicing for my mid-season showdown. I'm in a very, very heavy battle mood right now, so that's the reason why you're probably just going to see me talking like this. I'm really pumped up, just really want to make the best plays possible, so that is the reason why. But I hope everyone enjoyed today's episode regardless. Leave a like if you did enjoy today's episode, as well as if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, as well as there's a team if you want to try it out in the description with the placement for Showdown, as well as the QR team if you want to try it out. You can check out the finals of the Aeon Gaming tournament that I keep mentioning, which is what I did with this team. I won it, as well as, you know, follow my social medias, my Twitter, my Twitch, my Patreon. Otherwise, I think that's basically everything I want to say. I'll see you around in another episode.